Hey everybody, welcome back to another episode of Teaching Tips Tuesday. I'm Alex Fabrica, a TVI O&M with the Foundation for Blind Children, and today I have with me Abby Gifford. She is a fellow FBC TVI O&M, and today we're going to be talking about O&M FAQs, so that's quite a few three-letter acronyms for us today. How you doing today, Abby?
I'm great, doing good on this Monday morning. Happy to be here.
Absolutely, thank you so much for being on. So O&M is, I think, even less commonly known about than TVI, which is, I've been saying something already. So just briefly, what is O&M?
So orientation mobility is a type of instruction that's used with students or individuals that are blind or visually impaired. And orientation is the understanding of one's location in their environment and being able to maintain that position throughout your surroundings. And mobility is the ability to move freely and easily throughout one's environment. So put those together and you have orientation and mobility instruction.
The way I always think about it is orientation is the mental component, mobility is the physical
The
component.
physical, yeah,
Yeah.
exactly.
So who teaches orientation and mobility?
So an orientation and mobility specialist is a certified instructor who specializes in instructing individuals who are blind or visually impaired to travel safely and efficiently throughout their environment, oftentimes with the assistance of mobility aids such as a white cane, an adaptive mobility device, and that is who supports that service.
Who are we accredited by?
Orientation mobility specialists are accredited by ACVREP.
I know that's a national board, so we're all under the same.
Yep.
And that's different for like other teachers where you just get like your state level teaching certification.
Yep.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
So who age range wise is, or actually first let's go back and look at the historical perspective. So how did O&M as we understand it now, how did it start?
So the program of orientation and mobility began to develop immediately after World War II, when wounded soldiers who had been blinded in battle returned to recuperate at Valley Forge Army General Hospital. But prior to that, there was really no formal orientation and mobility instruction guidelines.
It was just like what you figured out with a stick that you found that happens to be a good height.
Yep, exactly.
Yeah. So
Exactly, which is
in the
really
40s, we got
interesting.
some formal understanding of these things.
Yes.
Yeah. All right. So what students age range wise are appropriate for O&M?
So orientation and mobility specialists are trained to work with a variety of age groups, including infants, school-age children, and adults. In my experience, I've worked with school-based students, but when I was doing my orientation and mobility training and completing my internship for orientation mobility, I actually worked at a VA at their blind rehab center down in Biloxi, Mississippi.
Mm-hmm.
And I worked with clients that ranged from 40s to their 90s. When it came to age. So orientation mobility instruction is seen with a variety of different age groups.
So basically any human at any point in their life cycle
Exactly.
might be a candidate. Okay.
Yeah.
Why is O&M important?
I would say O&M instruction is important because it provides individuals who are blind or visually impaired tools and resources and the confidence to understand their environment and to travel independently. Orientation and mobility instructors cover a wide range of different skills, and those skills vary from street crossings all the way to public transportation, so that individuals who are blind or visually impaired can travel independently.
Now, what kind of locations do you see O&M instruction?
So O&M instruction takes place in a variety of familiar and unfamiliar environments for the client. If orientation and mobility instruction is being done with school-age students, instruction may take place in their school building or in their residential community. Individuals who are blind or visually impaired of all ages may need orientation and mobility instruction, kind of as we talked about. So an instruction location will vary on the client, depending on the client's needs.
So you'll see it like at a kid's school, you'll see it in their community, you'll see it on bus systems.
Yep.
Where is the most interesting place you've ever done an O&M lesson?
I would say the most interesting place I did an O&M lesson was I took an adult client that I was working with at the VA to an IHOP. So we traveled on public transportation to a local IHOP to have lunch, and we covered a wide variety of skills.
Oh yeah, restaurant lessons have so much like meat on the bone.
Absolutely.
I might have you beat for doing O&M at the bottom of the Grand Canyon.
Oh, wow. You
That was
definitely have me
that's a
beat.
pretty cool brag that I have in my personal career.
I really like that.
Um, so I have a bit more of a technical question this time. On an IEP, does O&M count as a special education service or a related service?
On an IEP, orientation mobility counts as a related service.
Yes. Now this is often so confusing because TVI belongs in special education.
Special ed.
Yes.
Yep, exactly. So it does
Which then
differ
brings
there.
us to eligibility. So, are there any students who are not TVI eligible that are O&M eligible in your experience?
Not in my experience. All students that I've worked with do receive some sort of support from a TBI, whether they're addressing AT, Braille, whatever the case may be. But generally, it does kind of go hand in hand in that sense.
I would totally agree. I've definitely seen TVI kids without O&M, but I've never seen O&M kids without TVI.
Yep,
Yeah.
exactly.
Okay, we are now at the final question that I ask all my guests, and that is, Abby, what is your favorite part of your job?
I would say my favorite part of my job is seeing student progress over a certain period of time. So no matter what I'm working on, whether it's TBI work, such as assistive technology, Braille, self-determination skills, or it's cane skills under the umbrella of orientation and mobility, just starting with a goal and, measuring progress over time and seeing how far your students come.
I'm going to go one level deeper. What is your favorite O&M skill to teach?
I would say my favorite O&M skill to teach is street crossings, lighted intersection street crossings.
Mhm. That's not everybody's favorite. That could be a
I
pretty
love it.
stressful classroom environment.
It can be, but I really enjoy it.
That is kind of the fun of it. Yeah, I agree.
Yes,
Alrighty, well,
always up
thank you
for a good
so much.
challenge.
Absolutely, yeah. So thank you so much for coming on this episode of Teaching Tips Tuesday, Abby.
Of course. Thank you for having me. I appreciate it.
Absolutely. And thank you so much, everybody at home, for watching another episode of TTT. We hope to see you next week.